Meteorologist Patrick Crawford here talking sports and weather. Of course, we know weather is so important when it comes to outdoor sporting events. So we want to talk about an outdoor sporting event that is motocross, as we want to get an idea of how the weather can impact that sport when it's hanging out outdoors. We're joined now by Tim Cotter, Director of Events there at MX Sports. And Tim, we really appreciate you joining us here on WeatherNation, and I think maybe a lot of people at home, they might not exactly know what it means when we say motocross or motorsports. Can you kind of go into detail on that?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me today. Motocross is a off-road motorcycle, that's two wheels, motorcycle event that goes on a closed course, usually out in the country. There's lots of jumps on it. You've seen us on television when you span the channels, or maybe you're a motocross fan.
I know that it really doesn't matter what type of weather is happening. The events will go on, rain or shine. Can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, we are a hardy bunch. Not only our racers, but our fans are a hardy bunch. And so it is very, very unheard of that we would cancel due to weather. We prepare for that. We work really hard to plan for it. And it's difficult. It's hard to plan for the weather.
And can you talk about some of the impacts that it has for the drivers out there when, say, some weather is coming in, strong winds, maybe a lot of heavy rain, creating some of those muddy conditions? Can that be something that the drivers can use to their advantage?
Absolutely. Some riders, we call them riders because they ride on, they don't drive them. But some riders do much better in mud. And in fact, you can see it when the clouds are rolling in and we have a bad forecast. Some of the racers, the athletes, are sort of clamoring because they're gonna go race in the mud, and they know that they're better in the mud than maybe one of their competitors. We race across the country, so we may go from Southern California in 1 week to Denver, Colorado the next, and to Mount Morris, Pennsylvania the next, and those are very different atmospheres in terms of weather, and so you have to be prepared for all kinds. But we as organizers, we're always dependent upon those weather forecasts. Some days you're the hero, some days you're the zero as the meteorologist, as you guys predict the best you can. But we sort of keep an eye on the weather. We do keep an eye on the weather. We have someone that is dedicated to that, watching when the lightning strikes are coming, watching when we have high winds. We have wind protocols that we put into effect where all of our race teams, we have to change some of the things that we do because of wind or rain or lightning or what have you. But our fans are very loyal, and they know what they're getting themselves into, and they come prepared.
Tim, we appreciate you joining us. It's so fascinating. I just didn't really know much about motocross, but kind of hearing all this information, I'm excited to tune in. I want to watch some of this and see how the riders are doing out there, especially maybe when there's some heavy rain that comes in and it gets real muddy there on the course. This is just great information, Tim. We appreciate you joining us here on Weather Nation. This is Tim Cotter, Director of Events at MX Sports. Tim, thank you so much for joining us.